Good afternoon. It is I, Father Maguire, otherwise known as Phil. Today I'm going to explain I've been lied to by the course provider, probably not intentionally, although I'll get to that at the end of it. We were up to, I started part of another course this week, which is to do with skills in transport and logistics. So this actually means something towards the qualification of, getting to the point of getting in a lorry and trying to pass my test. So this is a 3 week course, although I've been given a date of 14th of January to complete it because of Christmas coming up, obviously. And I was the only one in the induction yesterday with a tutor, so we had a good one-on-one chat about things. So I sort of explained that I'm trying to not rush, but I want to speed this process up because obviously, impending surgery sometime next year, I don't want it to get in the way. So she was very understanding, lovely lady actually, very helpful, very useful, a lot of information I got off her. So I got to the point where the course was unlocked yesterday. I've completed it today. I just need her to finish marking my answers. There's at least one I know that I'm going to have to redo because there was a problem with it. I had to report an issue, which her technical team need to sort out. So apart from that, I've answered all the other questions in a day. That's what I want. I want it over and done with this week. So she basically filled me in yesterday on what happens now. So I've done all the online learning there was to do, including this one that I finished today. So now is I go for a medical. I then get given a website that I can access to train for my theory test, and that has a perception, which they'll then book me in for, which I would imagine is going to be January time because of obviously Christmas coming up. I'm not bothered. I would think the medical may be the same, although they've known about this for a few weeks. This is the frustrating bit actually. I've told them that my doctor will do driver medicals, but because they're paying for it, they insist on going to specific places where it's probably cheaper. So it means me having to go out of my way to get the medical done, which, it's a bit annoying, but, they're paying for the course. The least I can do really is cough up a bit of fuel to get there and back. Because I'm being funded by the West Nottinghamshire College. So all my driver training is going to be in Nottingham somewhere, which is about 30 miles away from me. So, realistically, I've been sort of putting money aside bit by bit to be able to pay for getting to and from, because it's a 5-day course. She confirmed yesterday it's 5 days driving before the test. So, that's better. I think that's better for me. It gives me more time to get to grips with things. So when she said it was 3-day, I was beginning to think, this seems a bit, hit and miss here. There might be things I don't quite take on board and I haven't got a lot of time to do it in. So she's confirmed it's that. However, this is the bit that really annoyed me. She said, so you'll be going for your class 2 test, and I'm like, hang on a minute, though. That's not what I signed up for. I signed up for a class 1. And she said, well, we don't send you straight for your class 1. And I said, well, the law changed on November the 15th. Stating you can go straight for your class 1. I said, and that's the reason that I signed up on the course in the first place. So, long and short of it, I'm going to have to do class 2 first. So then, of course, I'm thinking to myself, for God's sake, don't tell me I'm going to have to do another 7 weeks of this shit, really. The useless bits of information that I've just done to be able to get to the point of doing my class 1. And she said, no. She said, we will be able to send you for your class 1 when you've passed your class 2. So if you think about it, if they'd have told me that at the start, that it was actually class 2 that I was going for, I would probably still have done it anyway. Because if I'd have known that I was going to be doing a class 1 after, there's a means to an end, and I'm not paying for it, they're paying for it. And I'll have already done my medical, got the provisional C1 and C+E on my driving licence. That'll already be done. I'll probably already have got my tacho card because I've passed my class 2 and I'll have been sending off for that. I'll have done my theory test and the hazard perception. So all I will actually need to be done by the training providers is sent on another 5 day, course to learn class one and then the test. So, fair enough. It's a bit of a kick in the knackers because I did quite clearly ask somebody halfway through the course. I was stated to them that the law was changing, that, I wanted to do class one. I've told people about this, and it's a bit annoying that they're insisting I do class two, but it's a means to an end. I'll get the class one training after that, which, is all right. Plus, she confirmed yesterday as well. The other thing that's quite interesting, because I have grandad rights on my driving licence, which means I passed my car test before 1997. I passed it in 1990. I'm allowed to drive a 7.5 ton lorry now without having to pass any tests. Whereas anybody who passed the driving test after 1997 has to take a test to be able to drive a 7.5 ton lorry. Apparently, the course provider has found a loophole to do with CPC training. Apparently, because I'm one of those grandad rights drivers, I only have to do part one and I think part four, she said, or part five maybe, of the CPC to be able to drive lorries. The other three parts can then be covered by my employer, or I can pay for it myself, because I do see a lot of companies advertising for CPC training. So I could actually pay for it and go and do it myself. So that was good to know that I was going to be getting parts 1 and 5, which will actually allow me to drive lorries. Good to know that is, because they're charging about 40-50 quid per module. So if I was paying for it, that's 120 quid I'm going to have to pay for the other three parts of the module that I need for the next 5 years before you have to take it again. And of course, a lot of experienced and knowledgeable drivers are complaining that we shouldn't really have to do this. It was implemented by the EU, of which we're not a part of anymore. So they should be getting rid of it. So who knows, before my next one's due, they may say, oh, you don't need to do it anymore, which would be a blessing for a lot of people, I'm sure. She also, because we went into detail, she says you still have to do your reversing part of the test, which amused me actually. And I said to her, well, that's bloody easy in a class 2. And she said, I know, but you still have to do it. And and then she was trying to tell me things, because I've done my research, folks. I've watched a lot of videos, and I watch, even now, I'm watching a guy on Twitch who's driving a lorry up and down to get tips and hints off him and this sort of thing. So I really have done my research, and I was telling her more than she was telling me yesterday, because I've done my research. And I was sort of explaining that, whoever's training you can't do you on the test for your reversing. It has to be another trainer from the same school who does it to pass you or fail you, whatever. But you look at the reversing test when you look at a YouTube video, and in a trailer on a class 1, it might prove a bit more difficult to a lot of people. But class 2, it's, you're doing it in your mirrors, and I don't use my interior mirror now in my car, because I'm that used to looking in my side mirrors. I reverse all the time in my side mirrors. I very rarely look in this, and the only other time, and I want absolute accurate parking, is I'll probably shift my head back. You can't do that in a class 2, obviously, because there's no window there. You're looking all the way through to the back. But I park in my mirrors now, so I can't see that being an issue at all. So yeah, that's basically the update for today. I started that skills and logistics. There's no more online learning I've got to do. So all these courses, all this online stuff that I was to do was supposed to last 12 weeks, and I'll have done it in 8. So I've cut quite a bit out, because I've had time on my hands, so I've answered all the questions right. I've done my research. I've gone onto Google, and each question I didn't really know how to answer, I've looked the answer up, and then not plagiarised it, but put it in your own words. Don't plagiarise it, folks, if you do go through this course process, because you'll get it failed and they might kick you off it. So you've got to be a bit careful. You've got to put it in your own words. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, apart from it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's very dark because there's another storm coming in today. I've managed to get George walked twice, and it's absolutely throwing it down with rain now, so I'm pleased I'm in for the night. And football tonight, folks. Fingers crossed Liverpool are playing. So let's hope they get another win in the Champions League. I haven't really got a lot else to tell you, to be honest. It's another fairly short video. They'll get longer, once there's something more to say. But at the moment, I really haven't got a lot to say. I've updated 7 Days to Die for those of you that know that I'm a gamer, and I'm having a bit of a crack on Alpha 20 because that's finally dropped, which I'm happy about that as well. And you never know, I might get to have a game with Leppy or something in the meantime. But anyway, that's about it from me, folks. Not a lot's changed since last week when I did my last video, so for the time being, Father Maguire out. Take it easy, folks, and have a good one.